Mike Mayo's Lunchbox. Find out what's being served with Mike, Defoe, and Lubie, the only show that covers food, sports, and the proper maintenance of your car. And now, a man who had the distinction of having an entire health clinic named in his honor, Mike Mayo.
I want the flim flam sauce with the awesome fave with shafafa on the side.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to a home edition of Mike Mayo's Lunchbox. And look who's back.
Look who's
at
home.
Jeff Defoe DeForest. It's great to see your smiling face. What's
Thank you.
happening with you? Do you want to just...
The Odyssey of Terror, my friend. Remember that? That was a big story back in the day. Unfortunately, it was of criminal nature. But, yeah, I mean, I got a little bit of a long road. I had treatment number 1 of 84 of my at-home IV treatments this morning. And I was unaware that the home care nurse only comes in the morning. So we had one day to figure out what's going on. So Dr. Mustang will be taking care of me tonight. So there's a good chance I won't be on tomorrow's show, no matter where you guys are.
Is she like Nurse Ratched? You say, I want my cigarettes. I want my cigarettes.
Well, pretty much. I mean, we argue about everything. I mean, if I say, hey, it's a nice day outside, she says, well, what are you talking about? It's horrible. So she was already a little psyched out, but no, I mean, I think she can handle it. And then, obviously you would have to be able to function yourself. And so
let's catch people up. And I don't know how much you want to share by...
I don't mind. I'm an open book. You know that, Mike.
Yeah, I'm not allowed to share any of your information, even though I did say that you were in the Holy Cross Hospital and we're wishing you well. And obviously you posted that hideous-looking meatloaf that drew, I think, like it's up to 300 comments on the Let's Eat group. But,
the meatloaf was like a Burt Rappaport meal compared to the rest of it. that was the best of it. Yeah, and people don't understand. You know what? I love the comments on that thread on Let's Eat South Florida, and thank you, people. I mean, you really cheered me up by looking at that. And people are talking about, well, do they charge for water? They charge you $20 for an aspirin there. What are you talking about? Huh? Thank God for Medicare. It's a good thing. That's the only good thing about being old is Medicare and this supplement I have pretty much pay for everything. Although drugs are super expensive. The IV medication was not fully covered.
You don't even want to
my
look
prescription plan. My God,
I'm glad there's not a Let's Go to the Hospital South Florida Facebook group, because if people posted their receipts all day and were
could be a new show.
The amount of charges, but at least there's no 20% automatic gratuity yet.
There was a 22% automatic gratuity, I would imagine, and that's going straight into the pocket of the hospital administration.
But let's catch people up. I mean, you have this, knee and foot issue, and next thing you know, the foot or your cardiologist is actually the one who you
very
saw.
Lucky that this guy made this call, honestly.
And he
Dr. Zachariah.
Yeah. And not Zachariah. But
he has a brother. Like Mahmoud or something. But no, real good. I've been to him before. The guy really knows what he's doing, and he noticed something that surprisingly got by the rheumatologist that I'd seen, who's supposed to be top notch, and he said, "That's not good, kid." And as I was about to check out of the emergency room, thinking it was all okay, that they
don't use the words "check out" now. We don't like those words.
I mean, they were carrying people out of there. Some of them were in far worse shape than I am, he said, "You better go and go to the emergency room based on what he saw." And fortunately, just as I was about to go, they were about to release me and give me some medication, and then they took a look at an X-ray and they said, This infection could be in the bone, which is called osteomyelitis or something like that.
Okay. And it was an abscess. It was an active infection, and they needed to deal with it and treat it.
Well, if it's in the bone, that's the problem. Then it's very difficult to treat. So the choices were, and I don't know who I would have gone to for this. Do we know anybody that's really good? Oh, I could have gone to the butcher shop at Tropical Acres and just had the meat cleaver. That was option one.
Right off a couple of toes.
You see a guy coming in a white jacket with a lot of blood stains on it. That's never a good sign in a hospital.
Yeah, Jose and Gene over at Delaware, they're pretty good with the...
They would have been brilliant. That's right. So it was that or, do these home treatments. You were there when there was some debate about whether it could be oral medication or the IV treatments, and unfortunately, it was a split decision. And ladies and gentlemen, it turned out to be the 2-1 vote. IV treatment's the only way to go. The ruling doctor, the guy that had the final call, said this is the only way it's going to happen. And so here I am. So you have to deal with it. Yeah,
you do your own what they call a PICC line. I'm familiar with this because
you scared me to death, though. Mr. Wordsmith.
Mayo always does
When
that.
you put the definition of catheter on my text messages, and
Well,
I started reading about it, and I was like, catheter? That's not. They mentioned that.
You used to say the worst like words in the English
Yeah.
language were market price, but I actually say the worst word in the English language is catheter. But a catheter just
Depends
means
on the location.
they're sticking something, a needle directly into a vein or something. So when you hear catheterization, sometimes it's when you're going for the heart procedures.
Yeah.
But usually when I hear catheter, I think of the things that I see on the FanDuel TV network where they're talking about they're jamming it in certain holes.
The groin area would be negative there.
It
Yeah.
just makes me all squishy when people need to have.
At that point, you
How
actually
did we
should say
get
cut
here?
it off. Yeah.
This is a
I'm sure
food
it's
show.
unfortunate, yeah.
It turned into the Mayo Clinic Medical Hour.
I
again.
kept thinking about it. I should have been in the Mayo Clinic.
But let's bring it back to food because you were hospitalized for
Yeah.
I guess it was 5 or 6 long days.
5 days.
But you were I paid you a visit. I actually was able to.
Thank you.
stop by.
Only good meal I had.
I
Wicked
brought you
cheesesteaks.
the wicked cheesesteak, Brian. So gracious. What a mensch. I wanted to pay. I picked up some
Sweetheart.
stuff.
He came by yesterday with Goldberg's bagels, which are outstanding, by the way. Outstanding.
Brian Peters is perhaps the most generous, kind-hearted
He's a really
soul. Anybody who goes on the Let's Eat group and rips wicked cheesesteaks, you know what? That means the problem is you, because the guy and his wife
Sweetheart,
Sonata
yeah.
couldn't be any sweeter. I went in there. I said, I want to bring Defoe a little chicken Philly. That's what he wants with the onions. Got a little black and white cookie. I went to pay him. He goes, no, this is on me. And I was like, Brian, you're the best. And but he knows we're radio schnorrers and sleepers.
Well, he was cool because he wore the Mike Mayo sandwich shirt when he came to visit me yesterday. And every nurse that stopped by, and there are like a dozen of them every 15 minutes that are coming by, doctors, nurses, we turned them all on to wicked cheesesteaks. Actually, he told me this, which is a nice offshoot of what we're doing here, and it's a tribute to you and the Let's Eat South Florida group and the whole thing. Mike Mayo, he said that somebody posted something negative about wicked cheesesteaks, and then the overwhelming response was, "You're crazy, man! This guy's great, and the place is terrific."
Well, a guy
and
was
they were lined
browsing.
up like they were at Pat's and Gino's at his place the next day. Like
I don't know what these people from Philly want. Like, I've been to Philadelphia. I've had cheesesteaks in Philadelphia. It's freaking bread. It's an Amoroso roll. It's chopped up
Oh, they didn't like the
ribeye.
bread. Yeah, that was the.
And it's like, I've had cheesesteaks down here that are comparable to Philly. I'm sorry, it's not imbued with the same nostalgia and feel good, whatever the magic ingredient. Usually the magic ingredient in Philadelphia is hate. They throw snowballs at Santa Claus. It's a city of brotherly love that is just the most hate-filled people I've ever seen. Not to disparage everybody in Philadelphia, but in any event, I was
You
impressed.
sound like Aaron Rodgers when you're talking about Philadelphia. What are you talking about, Jimmy Kimmel now?
I was impressed with the menu options that they give you at when my mom, rest in peace, and this is something I did not get into yesterday, but my mom, God bless her, 3 weeks shy of her 91st birthday, did pass yesterday morning.
B. Mayo and our sincere, and I came to love B. Mayo through your various pictures and posts and texts.
She was a fighter.
Yeah.
And, she was not a horse player, not a gambler. She did like sports, like the Mets. But, if I was to come up with an epitaph, not that it's actually going to be one, but outran her odds. I mean, this is a woman who, God bless her, almost 91 years. And the last 6 of them spent with a stage 4 cancer diagnosis hanging over her head that she just fought and battled every step of the way. And, it was COVID that got her in the end. I mean, she never rebounded from this COVID that hospitalized her last month. And you know what? It was kind of a steady progression. But I don't want to think about all the, the illnesses and things. I want to think about all the good. And she was tough as nails. She loved to eat. She liked to cook. Once upon a time, back, great cook in my youth. I'll give her a fuller tribute now. But getting back to your hospitalization, because when my mom was hospitalized last month, there was no like menu where she could pick one from column A and one from column B. Again, she was on kind of a soft food diet at that point because she wasn't swallowing real well. But in the case of Holy Cross, they had this menu. It looked like bigger than the menu at Shenanigans. It's like,
it really did. I mean, it was like Flanagan's, where you got like 500 items. I would say this for Holy Cross Hospital, the staff there is as friendly and congenial, and they're as accommodating as they possibly can be. And so, and that's a very pleasant thing when you have a zillion questions and you're laced with anxiety, and you want to know if this is going to hurt, and what's that going to feel like, and is this going to work, and what are the odds? They couldn't have been any better, all the way from the top doctors all the way down to the person that was cleaning the floor. Everybody made you feel good in there. So I do want to congratulate them on that. I'm going to write a very nice summary of my experience there, because they do take the feedback seriously, the administration, and really it was terrific treatment all the way around by all the people there. That one of the best hospitals in that regard, I would imagine, anywhere in the country.
Yeah, no, Holy Cross, I've had some things done there. They are the most kindest,
Yeah,
compassionate, nursing staff, and, I've had some
and they're swamped
procedures
too. I
done
mean, they're
there.
really, really busy.
Yeah, they're just, again, and even though, it's a, I don't say, I mean, they're a Catholic affiliated hospital, but I'm Jewish, but they take care of everybody equally as well. It doesn't matter what your denomination, religion, or anything like that. They're just good people there. So I'm glad you're out. Let's just put it that way. And
I finally made bail last night at about 8 o'clock.
that's it.
It is the Hotel California though when you're in a hospital, because they don't want to take any risks that they're going to be liable to and suspect to any kind of legal action. So it takes 20 people to make one move happen like that. So it literally took hours from the time that I was supposed to be discharged until I finally got out the door.
Yeah.
But other than that, I mean, Mrs. Lincoln, how was the play?
Right, right.
It was,
You're back.
it was, I would recommend it 100%. Lubie and I had a sponsorship with Catholic Health Services a long time ago, and and my brother and I had used them, employed them after we got frustrated with a bunch of other medical people when my mother was passing away and needed hospice care. And my brother, who is, one of these, like you, a super intellectual, but to an extreme, and in general has no regard for anybody, that is inept at anything. And he even said, this is the most professional outfit that I've ever dealt with in my life. And they do home hospice care. So, unfortunately, if you're ever faced with that kind of situation, I would recommend them 1,000%, because you want answers and you want people to talk to you, and you don't want to have to call 50 different guys and be on hold. And they were very good in that regard. So, that's
That's good.
another organization that's got Catholic in the name or affiliation. That here's my Jewish mother, and she couldn't
Yep.
have been in better hands. But if she had known that the name of the organization was Catholic Health Services, being an old school, Jewish person from Germany, and having escaped before the Holocaust with my grandfather, she would have said, "What? I can't be treated by Catholic Health Services." Fortunately, for us in that situation, and unfortunately for her, she wasn't in a mental capacity to make that
Right.
call.
Well, I'm glad that she got the care she needed in the end. And my mom, I was familiar with the hospice process and procedures with my dad, and we use Vitas, which is a major national
Oh yeah.
for-profit firm. But again, the final week, my mom was in home hospice, and they did a tremendous job. And
Let's hoist one of B Mayo. I mean,
Oh,
nobody's got a drink
I'm
there.
gonna go get something during the break, and I will have a cocktail. Now, a couple of things. I see somebody's on the chat line, and people are entitled to their opinions. Number one, I don't know what I said yesterday that was wrong. I was going based off the information that Jim Sarney gave me himself, and Jim Sarney, we wish him best wishes. He's still in the hospital.
He's,
Having a
he's
ball.
still in lockdown. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
but
he's
he
blast.
he himself told me he loves all the nurses.
Oh my
guy.
God.
Yeah,
He was
these
banging
nurses
nurses and
He loves the
smoking weed.
attention.
I don't know what the hell he was doing in there.
But Jim Sarney told me he had something known as rhinovirus. Now, I don't know what
What
I
is that?
said yesterday. I was in a little bit of a fog, but somebody is saying I gave wrong information. RSV, I don't know if it's rhinovirus. I don't know what Sarney has. I'm going to shut up about Sarney's condition. All I know is I wish him the best, and I want him to get better. I know there are a lot of different viruses floating out there, and that people need to protect themselves with whatever vaccines or masking or stay-at-home requirements makes them feel comfortable. I know everybody in the world now is either been sick, getting sick, is going to be sick. So and Lubie, of course, is on the mend, and Shirley. So that's number one. So don't dispense, even though my last name is Mayo and rhymes with Mayo Clinic. I hope nobody is counting on me for medical, legal, or gambling advice, because that would be very, very food advice. Though I'm pretty confident.
It's always good to go on Facebook though and say you have this and see what the responses are.
Yo, you show your blown
Yeah.
up appendages, and
Oh my God,
that was great.
Last year I started out with the broken toe, which was equally inflated as this toe that was infected. So I have a tough time around the holidays and New Year's.
Yeah. So anyway, and as far as the other thing, look, everybody grieves in their own personal ways, and my mom, God bless her, what a fighter, what a person. I love her so much. I'm going to grieve in my own way, but we've set the arrangements. She's going to be buried next to my dad and brother. God bless them both, and that's going to be on Sunday. So I've got nothing to do between now and 7 a.m. Sunday when I take a flight up to New York. And
is there a funeral service being held?
Well, it's going to be a graveside ceremony.
Okay.
We have some family members up there. Anybody who's in the New York area will be
great.
happy to. And then I'm going to be doing some Shiva calls at my house and maybe a later celebration of life. The best way to honor her, and my mom was a worker, and she was a school teacher. She did nursery school. I mean, God bless her. She was working there in her 50s and 60s, where she was working with 3-year-olds at a private preschool, and she would have those little tables and chairs, and she'd get down on and read to them and do all this stuff with these kids. And every winter she would get a cold because all these snot-nosed kids are coming in there and coughing, and but God bless her, she loved being around the young kids. I had no patience for it at all, but she loved doing that, and she did that for a while, and then she finally retired, and then she came down here and spent her last few years being around her granddaughter, and it was a beautiful thing. And she loved nothing more than to, when we'd go out to Christine Lee's and get some of those beautiful ribs, those best spare ribs in South Florida, and she would gnaw those things down to the bone. Like I couldn't believe, like no carnivore I've ever seen. There was not one scrap of anything. I mean, it looked like a pack of wild raccoons had gotten to these ribs when she was done.
Jewish mother, though, did she make a face when you said you were going to the track? You said she didn't gamble. My mother always made a face. And she assumed that was the reason that I was broke all the time.
She accepted my gambling. The faces came when I would bring home the women I was either dating or marrying, because they tended not
come
to
into
be
question.
Jewish.
You're lucky now, but I don't know what your previous history was. I know some of it, and I mean, look, no Jewish mother ever likes the girlfriend ever.
No girls ever good enough.
Girlfriend. I remember my grandfather.
I dated a couple of Jews back in college, and then right afterwards, one of my first girlfriends here. You're right. No, none is ever good enough for the Jewish mother. There's always
never. No,
so that's it. I'm gonna have to go get a drink in her memory, and we're gonna toast to her.
I think you should have a big salutation on the show here today.
Yeah,
we should definitely celebrate B. Mayo. I call my mother B because she reminded me of Aunt B from the Andy Griffith Show, and her name was Betty. So there was a parallel there that I related very much to. Whenever you would have your mother, pictured, as I said, on social media, or sent a picture of her on the walking trail. Seemed like a great lady. She really did.
She was, and she survived a lot of,
890. I mean, that's. Would you take that number if it was blinking on the board right now?
Would I take it? I would.
Yeah.
75 at this point.
I'm telling you, man. I thought of you many times as these doctors were, poking and prodding and saying, "Well, are you diabetic? Are you this? Are you that?" And I'm thinking, my boy Mayo. But we got to get him on the right path here.
She again outran her odds. The way she fought cancer and then had follow-up surgery on her brain for what we thought might be another malignancy, and it turned out to just be scar tissue from the radiation treatments, and that was a month before COVID. Talk about good timing. I mean, a month later,
COVID's back though in a big way, isn't it?
In a big way. This new variant.
Hospital was full. When I went to the emergency room, there had to be 75 people waiting. And of those, I would say, a good portion, maybe half, were either bronchial or COVID-related people. It wasn't a great place to be. If you want to go get sick, go to a hospital.
Yeah.
But it seems, and everybody seems to be getting it again. Not everybody, but a lot of people I know have
Again,
gotten COVID now.
it's time to be
Wow.
careful. And again, I urge everybody, people can make their own decisions about vaccines, but this new variant, it's the new, they did a new formula. I got my latest vaccine back in October. It hopefully will help ward it off, but you never know. If you go, like, we go out to restaurants, we go out to events, just do what you feel is best for your situation. And
That's what sent Sarni out of control. He said some relative of his came down to visit him, and I guess whatever family he has down here,
yeah, I think it's
and
all.
got everybody sick. Everybody.
Continuing the theme of yesterday, where I'm just blaming the snowbirds and
Look at
the
Lubie. Lubie was out
travelers
cold for
for
a week.
everything,
Yeah.
because my mom got sick last month, and I was negative every day. I know I go out and about, but like, if I ever get any kind of symptoms, I wouldn't go near her, and I would
You
test.
negative? Oh,
But no, negative on that. But what happened was a family friend came down and just gotten off a plane from New York and spent some time with my mom. I suspect that's what it is. You know what? It really doesn't matter. Something got her, but again, just if you're older and immunocompromised, everybody's got to make their own decisions. But just it is the time of the year where, even before COVID, this was the time of year where flu and pneumonia would hit a lot of elderly folks, and it would do in a lot of people, because that's just basically, I guess, the nature of the game is, the older you get, the weaker your respiratory system is. But not yours, Defoe. Your breathing is perfect, and I think it's because you exercise. You do your walks of life and all that stuff.
It's funny. The minute I stepped out of the hospital after 5 days in there, I mean, just the simple things are to definitely be appreciated. All of the people that are fetching and moaning about, oh, you know what? They didn't give me a lemon with my water, and then they tried to charge me 10 cents. Forget about it. Forget about it. Just that first breath of fresh air when I got out of that joint.
Yep.
It was like I was at a beach in Hawaii.
Well, did you see the thing on Let's Eat, the big one today? It was like a woman went to a happy hour gathering, brought her 85-year-old mother, but it turned out to be a gathering of 15 people. There's a place in Boca where they have these rules that, happy hour is only available in the bar area and the high tops near the bar. And the woman's mom can't get up in a high top, but they have tables available in the bar area to handle that. But for whatever reason, the woman and the mom, that she wanted to be in the regular dining room next to the group, closer to the bar, instead of in the one in the back in the corner. And then she's complaining about, and they wouldn't give my mom the happy hour rates because she was at this table, and then the owner came over, was nasty. And
forget it,
saying,
people.
First of all, if you're going out with a group of 15, it's like, just, that's, to me, is my version of hell. And number two, okay, I love the fact that an 85-year-old is going to be going out and wants to, hang out and have a happy hour drink. But if you're going to get that miserable over something, and what the price differential is, maybe $5, and she's going to have one drink, just, I don't know. Look, I don't know everybody's financial situation. I know I'm pretty broke now, but $5, just don't make a big stink of it. And she makes a federal case. She gets on the group, the woman, and is responding to every negative attack. But, well, I don't like to use the word attack. Everybody who challenged her, but the post started with the words, "My blood is boiling now." And it's like
shaking my head. I love that one.
SMH. Is it worth it to get your blood boiling over the fact that maybe just
it's not.
Don't fight over the happy hour drink. Did the restaurant handle it well for an elderly woman? No. I wish people would have compassion for the sick and the elderly, but if a restaurateur is going to be like that, then just pay the extra $5 and never go back, and don't write about it again. Or just tell, you know what, I don't want to be negative today. Let's take our break.
Yeah, when I was in the hallway, and I was playing a little touch football with an ex-Marine who was in a worse situation than I was. And as you go back and forth and look in the various rooms, no matter what your condition is, you're thinking, and it's the old adage about there's always somebody that's in worse shape than you are. Believe me. It's not worth it. The kvetching and the bitching and the moaning is just not worth it. I did see a very favorable review, though, of a large party. I know you're not a big fan of large parties, but restaurants do have to accommodate them.
I know.
Some do it better than others. But
happens, yeah.
Prezzo's in Boca Raton, one of our favorite places, in a Rappaport restaurant, a tremendous review. They couldn't have been happier.
Yeah.
with what happened with their party of 15. So that was nice to see too. As most people are complaining all the time. Well, you know what? I had 10 people and this and that. My message would be, and it was like an epiphany. As soon as they took that last needle out of my arm and put the next one in, it was like enjoy it while you can, as we've seen. I mean, even with B Mayo, 90 is a great number, but it's still a short trip, my friend.
Yeah, still. Yep.
Nah,
Yeah.
look, I'm gonna miss her dearly, and there's a reason why I conclude the show every day with the phrase "enjoy every sandwich," and I think I've discussed it before, but for those who might be newcomers, "enjoy every sandwich" is just a quote from Warren Zevon that he gave during an interview with David Letterman when Warren Zevon learned that he had terminal cancer. And he spent an hour with Dave and played some music, and it was beautiful, beautiful interview. And Letterman just said, "Is there anything that you've learned about life, and now that you're facing the Reaper?" And he just said, "I just know to enjoy every sandwich," and that I thought was a beautiful sentiment. A bunch of Warren Zevon's contemporaries and musicians made a tribute album to him, and they titled it "Enjoy Every Sandwich." And I just think it really sums up the whole game, which is, time here is short, but I'm not going to let that stand in the way of having a good time. And I did the same thing last night at the beautiful dinner that they had at Union Kitchen and Bar. And I saw Phil, and the whole Visit Lauderdale Food and Wine Festival is underway. And man, what a great time. Look, I was tired. It was a day. All right. But I said at the end of the day, I might as well go toast my mom's memory and have some good wine and have some
She would have
great
wanted you
food.
to, right?
Yeah, exactly. And that's
Probably always
why,
encourage you to, get off your butt and get out and have a
yeah,
good time.
yeah. And as long as I wasn't at a poker table, she was happy. But she said, "You gotta lose some weight, Mike. You gotta get that. Just take a few pounds off, Michael."
Never mind this no drinking in January.
Oh, this was not a
start
dry
shedding a few
January.
pounds. It's a good
Hey,
idea.
let's talk about, speaking of drinking and
Yeah.
and undry Januaries, Tropical Acres. And speaking of, when you're getting a little bit up there, Tropical Acres is a place that seems to be favored by those in a upper echelon demographic, but it's also a great place for everybody. And my daughter loves it. And every time I've been going in there lately, I'm seeing younger and younger couples in the dining room and bar. But Tropical Acres is a great place at any age to not just enjoy every sandwich. They do have those sliders in the bar for happy hour, but enjoy every prime rib and filet mignon and seafood if you're trying to be a little bit on the avoiding the red meat side of the street. They got great scallops that the Mustang loves and stone crabs. Tropical Acres, man, we got to get in there maybe for a group meal soon. Actually, Jack Studiali and family want to be back on the Lunchbox. They're willing to have us in there before they open with the happy hour at 4 o'clock and do one of our Lunchbox shows there, like we did in the past. It's open every day,
How
but
great was
Sunday.
that, by the way, when we went in there for this special lunch? Now they're already, busy preparing for the evening's action, but wow! And I have never had a piece of prime rib that good.
That was
And
fantastic.
I've been to all kinds of steakhouses, all across the country, big cities, small places, as good as any that you'll find anywhere.
Oh
And,
yeah,
and I think you can say that without qualification. It's not
they
like we're shilling for the guy. I mean, it really is that great, and,
they
and probably at 2/3 or half the price of other places.
and they take great pride in their service and customer service. And if you go to a bar for a happy hour from 4:30 to 6:30 every weeknight, Monday through Friday, they do have low top tables. So if you're going on in there with an 85-year-old mom, you can sit comfortably at one of those lower top tables. You don't have to climb up to a chair in the bar, and they will take great care of you there because that's what they're all about at Tropical Acres, 2500 Griffin Road. You want to get in there on the books for Valentine's Day. Now's the time to do it. Call for your Valentine's Day reservations. It's going to be on a Wednesday night this year. It always fills up fast. So 954-989-2500 is the phone number. They're so old school there. They don't even have any of these online reservation platforms. If you want to get on the books there, you got to pick up the phone and you get on the line with either Carolyn, Jack's sister, or Marie, his sister, or Francie is a great, she works in the office there, and make your reservation, 954-989-2500. We love Tropical Acres. Again, go in there every day but Sunday.
Yeah, and a nice place to be serenaded too, because they have music and it's a great live vibe that they put together. Really a terrific place, Tropical Acres. All right, we're coming back with more Mike Mayo, and once again, I think we dedicate the show to the memory and the life of the lovely B. Mayo, who raised. Now you have your brother. Are there any other siblings, Mayo siblings?
Well, predeceased by my oldest brother David, who unfortunately had cancer and passed in 2009 at the age of 50, and that's
Oh,
another gut punch that my mom overcame.
that's the
Yeah,
toughest thing I think is
yeah,
to
to
have
lose a
a child
child.
pass before you do.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
that would be a tough one to deal with.
but me and Burl and her only grandchild, Natalia, because none of my other brothers had any offspring. So,
Where did Natalia? Did she settle on a college yet?
no, she's waiting to hear back from Florida State,
Lots
Florida
of Florida
University
State
of
high schools
Florida.
being jerks.
She
Lubie
gets
has pull in Florida State. He
Yeah,
can't
we'll see.
influence the dean to let her in.
Well, Norvell. Yeah, let's see what we can do. She waits. February 1st is the final decision day that she'll hear back from them, and then she gets until I believe it's April 1st or May 1st to make a decision where she's going to go. But she's got a couple of ones already in the bag, so
Beautiful.
She's feeling comfortable. UCF, USF, LSU offering her a big chunk of scholarship money. I don't know if
UCF
anybody-
is where my son went. Under construction forever
Yeah.
is what the UCF stands for.
Huge place.
Well, I mean, they're just always adding new buildings. It just never stops.
So,
And, not a bad place.
let's take a break, and I'll talk about this fabulous dinner last night we had with the visiting chef from
Ooh.
Cleveland, of all places.
Was Lubie involved in this?
Oh, I did not
He
go to
was.
that.
He got iced.
No.
Valerie was there, and we had a great.
I could see Lubie wrapping up the leftovers.
This thing was $125 a head. I was not at this.
You see how he eyeballs that. My friend called me Jersey Kyle, and he said he was watching a show, and he said, you should see Lubie. He's eating everything in sight. He loves the fact that you're out of there. He's probably wrapping up half of the meals before they were even served, just telling them to put them straight in a to-go box.
How was that tuna poke that you took from Bert and Max's yesterday?
Shirley actually had it for dinner. She thought it was freaking amazing.
Good. We had a good meal there, as usual. Those onion soup dumplings at the
Oh,
Bert
she
and
loves
Max's.
dumplings. She had one by accident. She's like, "Wow, this was freaking great." I'm like,
Good
"Yeah,
stuff.
it's a French onion soup."
All right, I'm gonna go get
The Mustang
myself.
just had me sign my will. She's not optimistic about these treatments.
Jesus.
Be prepared. I was a scout. Be prepared. All right, let me go get a cocktail from Mom, and we'll be back after these words on the Lunchbox. Comfort food from a scratch kitchen, delicious drinks and house-made spirits from a craft bar, a great vibe inside and out with a spacious patio. I'm talking about Batch New Southern Kitchen and Tap, Fort Lauderdale, in the heart of the city at 525 North Federal Highway. It's open 7 days for lunch, dinner, and weekend brunch with classics like fried chicken and waffles and shrimp and grits, and creative items like pecan-crusted salmon and a fried green tomato BLT. And the drinks? Smooth sipping and so good. There's convenient free parking and a garage next door, happy hour at the bar, an entire patio, 4 to 7 Monday to Friday, and live music every Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. It's pet and people friendly and with cozy fire pits for when the temperature dips. For reservations and more information, go to batchsouthernkitchen.com. Hey, it's Mayo here for Delaware Chicken Farm and Seafood Market. Since 1951, family owned for over 70 years, the home of freshness. I've been a customer for over 3 decades, and it's the place to go for poultry, steaks, meats, and of course, their unbelievable selection of fish and seafood. They've got it all. Key West pink shrimp, grouper, snapper, lobster, and of course, Florida stone crab claws of all sizes. Don't forget their famous fish dip and a full selection of prepared foods. It's located at 4191 North State Road 7 in Hollywood, just across from the Seminole Classic Casino. Owner Doug Carter and crew will take great care of you. Make sure to check out their weekly specials and daily catch online at DelawareChicken.com. Quality, value, freshness, that's the Delaware way. Tell them Mike Mayo and the Lunchbox sent you. If you like seafood in a comfortable setting, outdoors, even keel fish shack at the corner of A1A and Commercial Boulevard in Lauderdale by the Sea, that's my spot. It's upscale food in a down-home setting. The chef owners, Dave and Brad, do a terrific job with all the seafood classics that you want. They have the best grilled oysters in town, bang bang shrimp, lobster rolls, and daily fish specials. They also have weekend brunch Saturday and Sunday. They have daily happy hour 4 to 7, and they also have other weekly specials like mussels on Monday and oysters on Tuesday. Go to Even Keel Fish Shack and tell them that the Lunchbox sent you.
All right, I gotta do. I gotta do stuff.
This is a good one. Nobody's there.
Did Lubie leave us hanging? What happened?
He's out. There he is.
Want great Italian food in a beautiful beachfront setting? Have I got the place for you? Casa Calabria at the Ocean Manor Resort, 4040 Galt Ocean Drive in Fort Lauderdale. Highly rated across all the restaurant review platforms and totally Mike Mayo's Lunchbox approved. Delicious, authentic Southern Italian food in a cozy dining room overlooking the Atlantic. Live music in the lounge, full bar, and a great wine list. Owner Frank Talrico takes great pride in his family recipes from his native Calabria. Fresh fish and seafood, veal, house-made pastas, and marinara sauces smooth as silk. You gotta try the imported meats and cheeses on the antipasto platters, and don't miss that ricotta gnocchi. Fluffy little pillows straight from heaven. Casa Calabria, open for dinner Tuesday through Sunday, closed on Mondays. Tell them the Lunchbox sent you. Hey, it's Mike Mayo. When the Brooklyn boy in me wants a good bagel with Nova or some matzo ball soup, homemade knishes, or a great deli pastrami sandwich on rye, you know where I go? Grandpa's Cafe in Dania Beach. It's been around a long time, an institution, but a little over a year ago, a pair of New Yorkers came in, bought it, and refurbished the place. It's beautiful, and they are now serving great breakfast, brunch, lunch. They've got the omelets, they've got eggs Benedict, they've got all kinds of great baked goods like rugelach. Grandpa's is just off Federal Highway on Southwest 1st Street in Dania Beach. It's open 7 days. Go in there, tell them that the Lunchbox sent you. All right, we're back on the Lunchbox, and it's a
Celebration of B-Mayo.
Celebration of life. All right, so my mom, let me give her some of her likes and dislikes. She hated soda. She hated beer. She hated anything with bubbles in it, so she didn't drink champagne. But her drink was she would drink a little white wine, red wine, or the cocktail of choice that her and my dad always enjoyed when they would go out for a dinner. Was a Bloody Mary made with either V8 or tomato juice, and they didn't like it too spicy. So that
You're a big Bloody Mary guy. I mean, did
like
you inherit that?
I probably did. I probably maybe had a few sips at the table when I was in my teens with them, and developed a taste for the spicy tomato. Well, not spicy in my mom's case, but I like it more with the Clamato juice, which I guess is actually called a Bloody Caesar. It's a Canadian variant of a Bloody Mary. I love Clamato juice. I think it really makes
the concept just kind of
you're making a face. Have you tasted it? Well, you should taste it.
I would not be inclined to taste it.
Okay,
I like clams and things with clams in them and dishes with clams, but clam juice,
a little bit more of a briny flavor. I love it. I happen to love the Clamatos and the.
Are you
Bloody
a clam
Caesars.
Juice guy, Lubie?
I am. I love putting clam juice.
I'm not a tomato juice guy at all, and
not tomato, clam.
Clamato sounds.
Clamato, yeah.
This is V8.
You're allowed to like it. I'm just,
And again, a V8 Bloody Mary, not too spicy. And this one is for you, B. Mayo. Here's to you and your almost 91 years and the great family that you raised.
Please don't drink.
Well, no, I ended up on the dry January when I was making fun of it. Last time we were on the show at Gulfstream Park, it was like, dry January, what kind of a stupid concept is that? So drinking is definitely out of the question.
Yes, please don't drink anything.
Yeah.
We say L'chaim, here's to life. Salud, here's to health. And Nostrovia, which means the same thing in Russian, and whatever you want to say. Chin chin.
There you go.
To be Mayo.
Someone's to you, Mom.
May she rest in
thanks.
peace.
What do you got there, Lubie? You got a little red bean?
All right, that's why I couldn't let you drink alone, and we can't again have Defo risking his freaking life. So I'm here.
Yeah, I think I do it every day, Lubie. You know that.
You do. Well, you have scared the living shit out of me. So pardon my French. So just get better, and I'll support the one and only B. Mayo.
I have a food question for Mike Mayo, though.
Wait,
I don't know the answer to it.
Wait, before we get into the food question, for you, all right, no alcohol. Are you allowed maybe some of these other medicinal substances?
That's a good question, because I was about to have a gummy before the show, because you do need to decompress after all of this stuff. I mean, it's a whirlwind of negativity and anxiety, like I said.
That get in the way? Like, that's interesting. Like, I feel like people.
Yeah, I would think it was. It's a medicinal thing. I mean, obviously,
I don't think THC has any contraindications with antibiotics. I know alcohol does, but I am not qualified to give medical advice.
We'll find out. Could you get an opinion? Somebody on the chat line, can I have my gummy bears? I need something, man. I can't go around normal all day. I mean, that would be an absurd. I'm not even used to it. I mean, I have been straight for 5 days.
It would kind of be
like
a
new... when I went into the place, the hospital to begin with.
It would be a new inebriated experience for you, is to actually be like
Be
sober.
sober.
I don't know that I want that feeling. You know what? I divorced myself from that 45, 50 years ago, and it's been a good ride ever since. So why mess with a good thing as the thing? Well, all right. So here's my
You had a
question.
food question. What's
Yeah,
the question?
I have a
And
good
I
one,
had one
and
for you.
I have no idea what this stuff is or what it tastes like. I want to say I've never had it, even though I've eaten like healthy foods and worked in a health food restaurant many years ago before it was even a popular genre, and nobody even knew what health food was all about. This place called The Source out in L.A. was one of the original places that started serving juices and this and that. And anyway, kimchi. What do you make of kimchi? Because what I need to do, because you're taking a ton of antibiotics, I think you need to funnel some probiotic type of food into your system so that they don't the antibiotics don't wipe out all of the good stuff that's in your system. So kimchi, if you Google, probiotics, is one of the things that pops up frequently. Now it turns out that much of my problem was gout related, like an acute, unbelievable attack of the gout. I guess triggered all of this, and kimchi is a negative. I was told by one of the nurses in terms of combating gout. It actually exacerbates the situation,
Oh, because
and yet it's a probiotic. And you would think, wow, I'm eating healthy stuff.
for
That's got to be good for me.
those who don't
Yeah.
know, kimchi,
What
Korean
is
staple, fermented cabbage, and sometimes it sits there fermenting, and you get this active bacteria in fermentation.
yeah
Some people extol it. I think kimchi is good. I think some of the fermented things clears out the
sauerkraut was up there on the
you
list?
know the clear out systems and makes maybe is good for the heart or bloodstream. But again, I'm not a medical professional. All I know is if you need probiotics, I would go with the yogurt and the Greek yogurts and things like
Oh
that.
yeah, it's big.
Yeah.
And that's okay for gout. That's not
Yeah.
going to exacerbate. If you get the low fat, again,
And they have
fatty things is bad for gout. If you get the 0% Greek yogurt or some other 0% no fat yogurts, I think that is where you're going to get your probiotics.
There were a lot of interesting recipes, though. A friend of ours sent along the line of probiotic food. Now, are there restaurants that feature this kind of thing exclusively, or as part of their menu, where that they're
I don't
trying
know.
to have items that would be for people that needed to have
How about this?
an
Pose it
exceptional
to the
amount of
group.
probiotics?
Actually,
Pose
that's
it
a
to
good
the
question
group
for
and
the
see
group
what they
to
say.
sound-
Yeah.
There must be some health food joint that has this kind of stuff.
I'm
no?
sure there
Probiotics
is
are a big deal.
some big probiotic supporters and probiotic friendly menus and restaurants out there. So we're going to throw that out to the group later today. If I ever get
All right.
around to start approving things again, if you want to pose it, that would be fine. I had a question for you based on a post I did yesterday. After things settled down, I got back from Delaware for the show, and I didn't want to come back to an empty house right away. So I went to a local soft serve ice cream parlor in Dania called Dairy Bell. It's a Canadian joint. They have poutine, but they also have really good soft serve ice cream. I just felt like a hot fudge soft serve sundae. I don't have a Carvel near me. Carvel brings me back to my youth, so this is like a reasonable facsimile. But and ice cream makes everything better. But it was interesting because at Dairy Bell, and I said, "Oh, let me get a twist with the hot fudge sundae." Sounds like Skippy Dog is going nuts.
Skippy, it's funny. A dog, I noticed this, had moved into one of the places that are directly across from me.
Mm.
So that dog must be in the window there, and Skippy's
Is
not
he
happy
trying to
about
say
it.
hello? Is he trying to mate?
No, he would like to maul this dog, I'm sure. I don't know. Skippy's got a little bit of a disposition that doesn't necessarily suggest friendliness, although he is one of the sweetest dogs you'll ever meet.
Nice. So I'm getting my sundae. I get my twist with the hot fudge. She says, "You want whipped cream?" I said, "Yeah." And then I said, she goes, "You want nuts?" I said, "No nuts. I actually want." I said, "I guess." And then she looked. She goes, "Well, we got." She had rainbow sprinkles or chocolate jimmies, and she had a New England Boston
Okay,
accent.
that's a tough choice.
But I didn't realize there was a differentiation. I've heard a lot when I went to school in Boston. I would hear Jimmy's a lot referred to
Yeah.
as synonymous with sprinkles, but I never heard the differentiation. I was like, "What?" I said, "Jimmy's and sprinkles?" Goes, "Yeah, the rainbow are sprinkles, but the chocolate are Jimmy's." I
Oh, so
said,
the chocolate sprinkles, they call them Jimmies.
Yes,
"Yeah, I
I've
guess
heard
to
that.
differentiate so that you can do a shorthand. And if you're in New England and you say I want sprinkles, it means rainbow, and if you say Jimmy's, it means chocolate." Kind of a neat thing that I never heard before, and I guess that maybe is
And you were in Boston all those years when you were in
yeah.
school.
And then I got some people, and including here on the chat line, people I guess get riled up when they hear Jimmy's. They think it's a stupid name, and they would just rather say chocolate sprinkles or rainbow sprinkles.
Yeah,
it's like people that call soda pop.
Yeah.
They just call it pop. Like in the Midwest, everything. Hey, what kind of pop do you want? And I'm like, I don't know. I mean, how about popping something that can get me high under my nose? But they just refer to it as pop. RC Cola was always referred to as pop. Yep. Strawberry soda pop. Yeah, it's just a regional thing, right? I don't know. I wouldn't get upset about it. This is upsetting people after that brilliant conversation you had in tribute to your mother.
I don't know if anybody gets upset, but it's just one of those things. People like having these silly food debates. Is it sauce? Is it gravy? Is it Jimmy's? Is it
call it what you want?
Yeah, call it what you want.
Yeah.
Is it
just
Dukes or Hellman's? That kind of stuff. Hey, let's put in a word for our friends at Batch New Southern Kitchen and Tap. Kevin, nothing but love for that guy. He wrote some very nice words to me about my mom, and he was like, "Hey, let's take the show off tomorrow. You need some time." And I was like, "Hell no!" I said, "I want to come out there tomorrow. I want to keep going." And I said, "If you wanted to reschedule because you got something going on, that's fine, but don't do it on account of me." So we are on for a double header tomorrow. I am going to go in full workaholic mode now until I've got the family business on Sunday, but I'm going to, we're going to go to Batch New Southern Kitchen and Tap in the daytime for our regular scheduled show tomorrow, 1 to 2 p.m. That's in Fort Lauderdale. And then at nighttime, we got a special Lunchbox After Dark. Now, I don't expect you to be at either one if you can't.
The traveling might be
Are
a
you
little
allowed
bit
to travel? How does that work?
prohibitive. I'll be okay. I have to get used to the routine a little bit.
No, it's okay. And if you want to tune in for a segment while we do the daytime one.
I haven't figured out, how to wrap the arm for the shower yet.
Yeah.
So, that's you can't get this thing wet.
You don't want to get it wet. It's better to get dirty better to be dry and not infected anymore. But Batch, we're going to be there, me and Lubie anyway, and you could tune in via satellite.
I'll plug in from here if that's okay with you guys.
Yeah. And Kevin will, I'm sure, allow anything. He's happy to
That'd be more food for you guys, and that food is great.
It's all good. It is great.
It's really good. I don't know if you're really supposed to be eating this, Mr.
That's a little bit higher fat stuff, but they got some salads there on the menu at.
They had a great salad. I remember that. That was a terrific salad.
A salad with probiotics your way tomorrow.
Throw some
Southern
kimchi
Cobb salad. They're doing that burrata salad now on the weekends, but Batch is great. 525 North Federal Highway in Fort Lauderdale. It's open every day for lunch and dinner, and on weekends, both Saturday and Sunday, they have weekend brunch, including the bottomless cocktail options, which is great there because they have a scratch kitchen with the great Southern classics and things like fried chicken and waffles and that great the bourbon glazed short rib with the sweet potato mash that we love so much, and all those great happy hour bites that they have, including the that bacon potato tater tot. Probably not on a gout diet, but they've also got the those great infused house-made spirits like the pecan infused bourbons, and they make the beautiful whiskey sours with that. You'll find all those things at Batch Southern Kitchen and Tap. They also have the parking garage next door, which we're going to clarify for you. I know you were telling me that you had a little issue on the second floor. I don't know if you parked in a resident spot or not, but on the first floor, and there are signs that say, for the rest.
You gotta make sure it says.
We're going to clarify what happened there, but Defo had a little incident. He said he was on, but whatever.
There was a sign on the second floor that said these spots are for the local businesses, which of course Batch is one of them, and probably the primary one because that's where everybody's going, and for good reason. Because the aroma, you can even sense it and take it in from the garage, which is nice as opposed to gas fumes and things like that and exhaust. But I guess it's not all of the spaces. Now, you said there was a sign in front of your space, Mike Mayo.
Yes.
I was a few cars away from you.
Right. So
and maybe that's what I missed. So it's probably my fault.
If it doesn't have the sign on each particular spot,
then
that might be.
That was the problem then.
That would be for residents only.
Because I came back, we did 2 sessions there. Remember, you had that gathering later on, and I did not get ticketed the second time. But I was surprised that, because I thought that whole area there was for the free parking. So be careful about that.
First floor for sure, and then I think the second floor there's certain spots. So just make sure
again, if the sign is at the front of the spot, it means you're good. So
yours just had a big picture of you. It said Mike Mayo, food critic, head of Let's Eat South Florida administration.
It's kind of
I think Gretchen had a spot also designated for her.
Yeah, it's all good. But yeah, we'll be in there tomorrow. It's a great place to go. Check out New Southern Kitchen and Tap. And
To get by the professor is not easy. Lubie knows this as much
Oh
as
no.
anybody. I mean, he
he's a
hangs
tough
out with
critic.
him.
He's tougher
Well,
than
and he
me.
knows what he's talking about, especially with this type of food. Yeah,
Yeah.
especially.
So, all right, let's take our final break, and then we'll talk about last night's Visit Lauderdale
Yeah, that looks
dinner
good.
that
What
I
was on there?
had, which is great. I'll talk to you about
How's that compared to the menu at Holy Cross that you looked at?
I would say
Favorable?
1,000 times better. It was so good. Christy and
Does it
the
have a
visiting
little
chef-
heart next to some of the items? For the people that are on cholesterol
It's a
medication.
little exploding heart that
Yeah.
it was a bone-in pork belly in this really rich.
Let's not talk
sauce.
about bones right now.
Okay. All right, we'll be back to wrap up this edition of Lunchbox after these words. It's Mayo for Gilbert's 17th Street Grill. You know me, I love family-run places with quality food at fair prices served with passion and pride. And that's why I love Gilbert's. For more than a decade, Lenore, Beth, and Richie Gilbert have been serving up the best burgers, wings, ribs, salads, and desserts. It's a fast casual spot. Everything prepared fresh to order from an immaculate open kitchen. They're at 1821 Cordova Road in Fort Lauderdale in the Cordova Shops just south of 17th Street. Open every day but Sunday. One of my favorite burgers in South Florida. Big, round, juicy pucks of 100% Angus beef, char grilled to perfection. And don't miss the sweet potato fries on the side. They're legendary. Go to Gilbert's, feast, and be happy. Tell them the Lunchbox sent you. When I'm looking for some wicked good food for a wicked good lunch, there's only one place to go. That's Wicked Cheesesteaks in Fort Lauderdale. It's at 4824 North Federal Highway, just south of Commercial Boulevard and across from Holy Cross Hospital. My friend Brian there, he will hook you up with some really tasty treats. They've got cheesesteaks just like the best you can find in Philly, along with lobster rolls, because that's where he's from, Maine originally. And they have wings and pizza and everything you want to have a really good time. Wicked Cheesesteaks, they're open every day but Tuesday. Check them out online, wickedcheesesteaks.com. Tell them the Lunchbox sent you. If you're looking for a great place for steaks, seafood, and more, go to Tropical Acres Steakhouse and Butcher Shop. It's at 2500 Griffin Road in Dania, just west of I-95 in the airport. They've been there a long time, since 1949. That means they're doing something right. You'll get old school hospitality from the Studiali family, along with great value, tremendous service. Of course, you could also go into the bar for happy hour every day, 4 to 6. The early bird special runs from 4:30 to 5:30, and they have great value all night long. Also, a butcher shop that's open every day from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. except Sunday. The dining room is open every day at 4:30 except Sunday. Go to Tropical Acres. Tell them the lunch. 4, a Delray Beach favorite since 2010. Casual waterfront dining right on the Intracoastal and the Avenue. Located at 840 East Atlantic, there's valet parking and dock and dine available. By land and sea, this is the place to be, with modern American cuisine, fresh seafood, and a sushi bar. Stay cool in the interior dining room or chill out on the air-conditioned outdoor deck and bar. All your favorites are here, including burgers, tacos, and their great spinach cheese dip. Weekend brunch until 2 p.m. and live music every Saturday and Sunday afternoon. For reservations and more information, go to deck84.com and tell them the Lunchbox. People come to me and say, Mike, where should I go out to eat? I got guests coming from out of town. Where should we go? Cafe Seville. That's the answer. 2768 East Oakland Park Boulevard. It's a Fort Lauderdale perennial, serving the finest in Spanish and continental cuisine in a cozy, friendly, comfortable setting. Joey Esposito and Sally, his better half, they've been running the place for a long time. It's been open since the 1980s. They got great Spanish classics like paella, shrimp with garlic sauce, and all kinds of great seafood dishes. The stuffed veal chop, oh, that's my favorite. Go to Cafe Seville. It's open every day but Sunday at 5 p.m. for dinner. Tell them that the Lunchbox Mayo and Defo sent you. Do you like burgers? Do you like wings? Do you like late night food and sports on big screen TVs and cold beer and friendly vibe and great people? Then you want to check out Shenanigans, 1300 South Federal Highway in Dania Beach. Go to Shenanigans, you get yourself all the good stuff, the fresh fish every day, the blackened grilled wings, and of course, the kitchens are open late. Go there, tell them that the Lunchbox Mayo and Defo sent you. All right, we're back on the Lunchbox. We might do a little overtime today, make up for lost time. Defo not here, but wanted to put in the good word. So, okay, first of all, Our work is done. Rock and roll is sold out now
Oh,
too. We're going
nice.
to be broadcasting. Me and Lubie will be there tomorrow night at 6:30. We'll have some guests on for some of the great restaurants taking part in the inaugural Asian themed event, rock and roll. But again, I look and I see that is now a sellout, and it's great because. Basically, what's left is Sunday, Family Day, the 14th, and is a kid-friendly event. Most of these other ones are actually all of them are 21 and up because there's a lot of wine and other good spirits are going to be served at the grand tasting, which is sold out on Saturday. Tonight, I'm going to be judging the bar fight, and I don't know, Lubie and you and the professor in. I got passes for you if you want. So
I was going to talk to you after the show about that.
okay, and of course the barbecue poolside on Friday night is a sellout, and I'm going to be there chowing down, and I'm going to eat, drink, and be merry at all these events. But on Sunday, bring the kids, and they got food trucks set up. It's a free event right there at Las Olas Riverside Beach. I'm sorry, Las Olas Beach Front Park, A1A, and Las Olas Boulevard, where the grand tasting is. But on Sunday, free admission. Bring the kids. Cooking demonstrations and food trucks and interactive things. It's going to be a great time on Sunday. And again, but another great event, another sellout. So I've got it all covered here because last night, me and Val went to Christy and Roberto at Union Kitchen and Bar. They welcomed this visiting chef from Cleveland, Vinny Semino from Cleveland, but he had interesting roots. He spent a little time. I guess he was born in South Dakota, and he also spent some time in Mississippi. So he had this really, like, he's a James Beard like honored chef. He Lubie, this dish he made, he called it the cannibal sandwich. It was basically like a steak tartare on open face steak tartare on Japanese milk bread. It's basically like white bread where they add milk and it's a little bit creamier and richer. And he blended this Wagyu 48-day dry aged Wagyu beef tartare raw with 3 different kinds of mustards, including Coleman's mustard and a ballpark Cleveland like Kosciuszko mustard and Duke's mayonnaise and those Kool-Aid pickles. Remember we talked about the Kool-Aid pickles?
Yeah.
What an unbelievable dish with some fresh dill on it and paired it with some premium sake. It was fantastic. And it was just great to get these visiting chefs, Steve, where, they've aligned themselves with a lot of great local restaurants. The Reno and Heritage on Monday night was another huge smash hit sellout. But this thing last night, it was great for me to go check it out. Look, a chef that, you wouldn't ordinarily be able to check out. He does his stuff in Cleveland, and it was fantastic.
Sounds good, yeah.
Yeah, no,
Are
and
you still belching up some of the food?
I'm belching up some
Yeah.
Mom's Bloody Mary, but
There you go.
No, and then I had Spies. Actually, Val's son. She gave her tickets to the Catherine dinner with another local chef, Brad Kilgore. They had a great time at that dinner. Her son. Val came with me to Union Kitchen Bar, and Christy did like 3 dishes, including this great. It was kind of like a fried potato pancake latke with some creamy crab on top, and it worked perfectly. There was also, she did a great squid ink ravioli stuffed with cheese, but topped with lobster with this beurre blanc, like a lemon butter sauce that was rich and beautiful. And then the chef from Cleveland, Vinny, did this dish where it was I hate to say bone, but it was bone in pork belly in a root beer sauce with a ton of butter. And it was the way they cooked this was unbelievably good. All these bites and things that they have at these different dinners. Tonight, I'm going to be drinking at the bar fight. Val is going to the Burlock Coast dinner with Jeremy Ford and Paula. Paula was on last week with us. And it's just so much fun to see everybody like into it. And
well, what a great event, huh? All the way around.
What's going on? I love it.
This Phil, unbelievable job these guys did putting that together.
Yeah, the way this thing has grown, and it's now I think 5th or 6th year. They had a little hiccup during COVID; they couldn't hold it a couple of years, but it's really growing. It's turned into this beautiful showcase, and I'm not pitching it anymore because there's really nothing. There's nothing left to sell. But I'm really really pleased with being a part of it, and kudos to everybody involved. It's really a good time.
Are you judging any of the things that are going on?
Yes, I've signed NDAs, but I'm going to blow those now. I'm judging tonight. judging the bar fight competition.
Oh yeah. Oh great.
And I'm going to be judging the grand tasting on Saturday.
I can't
Fri-
believe it, Lubie. You're questionable. Are you on IR
Well, the
or?
thing tonight I was gonna go to, but I didn't get the passes from Mayo, so I'm trying to figure out.
Oh, okay. Well,
We'll
he was
see
busy with
tomorrow.
a lot of stuff.
Well, I was
we
with
can
him
meet. I can leave those
yesterday.
passes for you. We can rendezvous
We'll call.
beforehand.
Yeah.
There's a way to do it.
Yeah.
So if you just need 2 of those passes, we will
Yeah.
figure it out. So it's all good. Or if you want to meet me at Heritage, I'm going to go up there for a little pre-gaming, I think,
We'll
and see my man Reno. And,
Now, did you? I'm sure you discussed this, but I was surprised. Reno banned from Yelp.
yeah, we did discuss this.
I talked with you about that. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? It's what was the musician group? It said banned in Boston. Whatever. I think it's a badge of honor to him. I mean,
Yeah.
Yelp is a ridiculous platform. We talked about it the other day. How it's been dead to me a long time. But what do you think that they still have people reviewing him, but he's not allowed to, I guess, respond?
Well, I could see where they're coming from, but I see even more deeply where Reno's coming from, and it seems like he is speaking for the people of the industry. Where I mean, a lot of people would like to say the things that Reno is saying, maybe not quite as in the same kind of terminology, but nonetheless, I mean, like we discuss all the time, enough of the fetching, enough of the bitching.
Yeah, enjoy yourself. It's later than you
Yeah.
think, and that's again part of my.
It's your new approach. I like it, the new Mike Mayo for 2024.
Well, here's the thing. I play a real grouch and combative guy on the internet with the group because I think some people deserve to be smacked around a little, like the same way that
You have a little Reno Sorbonne in you. You do.
I do, but I do hold the line where I won't tell people to go lay down on the railroad tracks or anything like
Okay.
that.
Well, suggesting that you go kill yourself might be a little strong for the people at Yelp that are just hoping you post 2.5 stars for some joint like the Cracker Barrel.
But I think to pick up on what he did, which was reviewing the reviewers, I think it was funny if he didn't go over the line sometimes and maybe get a little too personal. If he just said, "You don't know what you're talking about. Guest review 1 star." Like that. That's funny.
What's
That's
funny,
at
though,
least-
is they're expecting him to take the criticism and these restaurants, but then you can't be thin-skinned. It's like being on the air on a sports talk show where, you're critiquing everybody. You're saying this guy stinks and the team is terrible and Mike McDaniel, his play calling, one of Lubie's obsessions, is awful. And then you would have to think that McDaniel would have a chance to respond and say, "Well, Lubie, your show isn't so hot." Who the hell would want to go on that or listen? And then you can't take offense. Oh my God, can you believe what he said about me? That's
You gotta
ridiculous.
say it. Yeah.
Yeah. So, did you have any thoughts now that you're back, Defo, about that Dolphins Bills game or the finish or anything?
It's interesting, and I saw you guys were going back and forth on the text, but I wasn't in a position to respond there, so because I had like 6 needles in my arm, but and none of them were the kind of Kurt Cobain was using.
None
which
of
I could
them
have used.
contain morphine.
They
Heroin,
offered me
or-
morphine for the pain, and I turned it down.
I got some left over from Mom.
Yeah.
I could sell it on the black market.
I didn't need it. I wasn't so much in pain as I was, the anxiety about this ridiculous disease. The pain had kind of alleviated itself a little bit anyway, so it was tolerable. But you know what? The Dolphins. They had the same tendency all year long, unfortunately, and it's one of the things that's part of the narrative about Tua. Can he lead? And you always look for this in a quarterback. That C.J. Stroud, a rookie, he leads a dynamic drive as badly as you saw Josh Allen play in the first half. You know what? When the game was on the line, he orchestrated a big drive and made the key play on a gutty 15-yard run where he was barreling over people. And even though if you looked at the first half, and I don't know what Chris Collinsworth was watching in the first half, because this guy stunk the joint out in the first half and did all the things that are.
Pictures does Josh Allen have on all these?
Oh my God! I mean,
Tony Romo, Chris Collinsworth, they all like.
I like Josh
Allen.
Allen. He's an interesting guy. When you hear his comments after the game, I mean, he was kind of sedate after this game. He didn't, but I really enjoyed watching him. I kind of root for him, but he's extremely error prone and one of the most inaccurate passers in the league. He's at the in the bottom 3 or 4 in a lot of categories. But you know what? When the game was on the line, and this is what it's all about, being clutch sometimes in sports. He manufactured the goods that he needed.
Yeah,
and the Dolphins didn't. But they were so badly depleted personnel wise on both sides that I have to give them a little bit of leeway. And the play that ultimately doomed them was that punt return, which
changed
was
everything.
just an unfortunate, as you said,
And
Mike
Lubie is
Mayo,
not.
stay in
Lubie-
your lane. Stay in your
Right.
lane.
Right. It's one thing that Mike Westhoff, when I was actually a
Yeah.
beat writer, he was the one assistant coach who was
But
actually
it was wildly
open and
entertaining, that
helpful.
game,
But
wasn't it? I mean,
oh
it
yeah,
really
yeah.
was.
But when I would review special teams film, he would, you'd see those big, upper deck 11-on-11
Yeah.
shots, and special teams is all about everybody maintains their lane and don't all converge on one side. That was the two guys went like
Well, the one
bowling
guy
pins.
got hurt and then took out the other guy,
Right.
and that's literally where the guy went.
And that's typical Dolphins luck, right?
It's
and
so
that's what
Dolphins.
happens
Exactly.
in
Yeah.
January and
Two guys
December.
crashing into each other, and
Hey, we'll
your
see.
season
Maybe
crashes.
look,
Yeah.
the Chiefs have not been world beaters.
They're
lately.
suspect,
They've
but
struggled,
I
but
think they may be too much for this Dolphin team the way they're
especially
playing
in
right now.
20
How about
degree
Philadelphia,
weather.
though? I mean, you talk about collapses. That was one that's really interesting to watch,
Yeah,
where they
because
lose 5 of their last 6 games.
Philadelphia is
They're going on the road to Tampa as a fifth.
Yeah.
That's it.
Interesting.
All right.
No, but it was a good ball game. If you said before the season your team was going to go 11-6 in a 17-game season, you'd probably say, all right, that's not bad. But Tyreek Hill also in the end game was a guy that butchered the ball game, and I don't know if he's hurting. Supposedly he played with a bum ankle the last few games of the season, and he missed one game. But uncharacteristic drops by him also were extremely costly. So.
Yeah,
It was a combination, a
2
perfect
weeks in a
storm of
row.
errors. Yeah.
His head. I don't know where his head is at. There's things going on, obviously, in his personal life. But anyway, that's going to do it for today. We did want to put in the good word about Delaware Chicken and Seafood Farm.
Ooh, great place.
If you're looking for something to,
You know what I love about the show is when the picture of you eating that stone crab comes up from Delaware Chicken Farm and Seafood Market. It's one of the classic pictures that is depicted on this program.
I love my stone crabs,
Yeah.
especially when they're
It's the
complimentary.
face you have. I mean, I've never seen a guy look more euphoric.
It's pure joy.
Yeah.
And again, it's all about enjoying every moment. And when I go to Delaware Chicken Farm and pick up something for the weekend, and again, with the playoffs now going in full bore, you're gonna want to go in there and have something. Maybe you could throw some of the great seafood fish on the grill, do some of the chicken parts. You can make some chicken wings or the chicken thighs, get some steaks, get some of their house-made sausage, and pick up a couple of stone crabs and fish dip as well. If you're going to have a playoff gathering, Delaware Chicken Seafood is the place for all your needs. 4191 North State Road 7 in Hollywood. They've been doing it a long time. Jose and Gene will take great care of you. They're so efficient in there. That's the thing. Even if you go in there and the parking lots are full on a weekend, you get your ticket, you'll be in and out of there in no time. Great job they do there at Delaware Chicken and Seafood. We'll be there the last Thursday of the month, January 25th, getting ready for a big Valentine's Day. They're going to be having all kinds of good stuff on sale to woo the romantic partner in your life. Delaware Chicken and Seafood. DelawareChicken.com is the website. You check out all their weekly specials, so on and so forth. All right, that's going to do it today, guys. Defo, thank you. It's great to see you back. Are you wearing a MAGA hat, by the way? What?
No, it's a Saratoga hat.
Oh, okay.
far from MAGA. For
I
me,
saw
yeah.
a red hat. I got a little scared. Do you know
Well,
I am
like,
gonna
like I said, the hair might be a problem for the next couple of weeks because the most damaging. People were freaking. They say you get that wet, you're right back in here. So
Oh, Jesus.
yeah.
Well, I was a little scared seeing a red hat. The Republican.
No, believe me, that would be the last place that I would be seen as wearing a MAGA hat.
Oh, good. All right, that's going to do it. If anybody is out at the bar fight competition tonight, come on out and say hello. I'll be there, sipping and judging, and Lubie will be there too with the professor.
Oh, beautiful.
And tomorrow again, doubleheader.
Well, at least one for me, guys.
We will. Doubleheader batch, daytime, usual 1 p.m., and then 6:30 special Lunchbox After Dark at the Walk and Roll event. That's going to be at the backyard in Hamarshi. And until then, here's to you, Mom. Rest in peace. Enjoy every Bloody Mary and enjoy every sandwich.
He's pudding and saveloys. What next is